Hello, can everybody hear me? Great. So my name is Jerry Haskins, and I'm a solution architect with the VMware Office of the CTO, specifically working with the Partner Solutions Engineering team, which is a team that works with our partners to do joint solutions. And one of those we're going to talk about today. And I have Justin Jones here with Dell Technologies. He's also going to speak a little bit on VxRail. And so the solution we're going to talk about is a new solution with Kubernetes, Tanzu on VxRail. And it's a joint solution we've been working on for a bit, and then I guess we'll get into it here and talk about it. So supporting modern apps can have many challenges. How many people are providing Kubernetes on-prem for their developers right now in this audience? Okay, there's a few. So you know there's many challenges. Here are some listed with scaling, security, operations that customers face with these modern apps, right? More than 60% of customers are already using some kind of Kubernetes. And they all face very similar issues. Who controls the Kubernetes environment is one of the biggest ones. Developers many times request VMs from the VI admins, and then they just build their own version of Kubernetes on those. And so there's really no rhyme or reason. They just pick a distribution of Kubernetes, and they just all build that, and then they start using it. So many times that same environment ends up becoming the production environment in the end of it, right? So you know, who's going to control those Kubernetes environments? You know, when the developers build those, you end up with no visibility as the admins. You don't have good storage a lot of times for those. You'll have storage issues. And then you're going to have networking issues many times because they don't have an end-to-end knowledge of the environment a lot of times when they build those. So how do you scale that when it finally does go to production, right? And who in the end is going to take ownership of that environment? So VMware Tanzu and Dell Technologies have a significant amount of joint solutions between the two companies already. VMware and Dell Technologies offer 4 purpose-built solutions that bring the power of VMware software and Dell Technologies hardware to enable customers' cross-cloud transformation. One of them is VMware Tanzu architecture for VxRail. And this has been around for a number of years, and it's really built around a platform as a service model. Some might remember TKGI was the old Pivotal PKS. So that's been around for a bit. And then there's VxRail and PowerEdge with VMware Tanzu. That's more of an entry level, and that's just kind of your base vSphere with Tanzu. Then you have VxRail PowerEdge with VMware Tanzu Data, and that adds some more performance features to the platform. But today I'd like to talk about the product that was introduced at the US VMware Explorer, and that's VMware Tanzu for Kubernetes operation on VxRail, or TKO on VxRail is how we like to call it. This is very much a joint solution between Dell and VMware. If any of you in the audience are familiar with the VMware and Dell relationship, you'll know that we do a lot of joint development, and VxRail has been one of those very close development solutions. You know, VxRail's been around now for about 8 years, and its hardware has been built to support VMware software. Would you like to talk a little more about that?
Yeah, absolutely. Thank you. Thank you. So I saw a few folks are operating Kubernetes on premises today. Do any of you actually run VxRail already? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Hey, it's a good representation. Thank you. Like Jerry was saying, we do have a long history. We've been doing this for 6 or 8 years. We've been integrating that hardware and that software to make it easier for IT teams and now easier for developers to stay focused on innovation, to stay focused on the work you need to do. He mentioned some of the challenges like scale, right? How do you take care of that team? How do you let your IT teams know that you're going to need a little more capacity, you're going to need some more resources. In these types of environments, you have that scale rapidly available to you in that hyper-converged infrastructure. You can grow it quickly, you can branch out quickly, you can move through it. When we started this, we were the only jointly engineered solution with VMware, and guess what? We still are the only jointly engineered solution with VMware. We've got, I don't know exactly how many Tanzu production environments we have out there, but I know that we have over 17,000 customers and 250,000 nodes out in production today. So there's a lot of evidence that supports that integration, that work that we've done to continue to build this, these solutions together. So when you look at that ease of scalability and that ease of management, because the other thing that VxRail brings to you is that opportunity for your IT teams to support, their data center environments are supported through VxRail, then their edge environments are supported through VxRail, multi-cloud, and then container orchestration as well. So you're able to blend Tanzu in, and you can operate your VMs and your, kind of more historical mission-critical database environments or just any converged workloads into the same infrastructure. So there's a lot of opportunity for flexibility there as you work with your IT teams to find that opportunity to develop.
Great, thanks. So here are the lists of the three main components of TKO on VxRail. So first it has Tanzu Kubernetes Grid as the main infrastructure for it. Tanzu Mission Control is what is the cloud controller for it and the control plane for all of the Kubernetes platform. And then we have Tanzu Observability, which is what was formerly known as VMware Wavefront. Some might have used that. And that's for the product for monitoring the complete stack. So it monitors the hardware, the software, and all of the workloads running in the environment also. So this all starts with vSphere Tanzu product. And TKGS is what some might know that as also, which is all embedded on VxRail, giving a consistent API for the developers to use. We do all the validation and testing. It's a very consistent Kubernetes experience. We keep all the reference architecture up to date, and we also consistently test and validate all the updates before they're released. So VxRail and TKG is the on-prem version of the product. And then Tanzu Mission Control is the SaaS control plane, as I mentioned, for TKO on VxRail. Mission Control can not only manage TKO on VxRail, but it can also manage other versions of Kubernetes you may already be running in your environment, on-prem or even in the public cloud. This gives you the consistent control plane to manage all Kubernetes instances you have. Added security features like role-based access can be applied to all of your Kubernetes clusters, giving admins control of visibility of these environments. The ability to update the cluster from a single control plane, and Tanzu Mission Control really becomes your single pane of glass for Kubernetes. And with it being a SaaS service, that means that VMware takes care of all of the updates in the cloud. You don't have to, you can concentrate on your workloads and your deployments and not worry about the control plane. And I got to update to the next version of that. It just gets updated automatically. Sorry, had a little problem there. Okay. Tanzu Observability, it monitors the entire TKO on VxRail environment, giving you the insight you need into the whole environment. Like I said, the complete stack running the infrastructure through the workloads. It helps you troubleshoot quickly and get issues resolved fast. One cool thing about Tanzu Observability is that out of the box, it has dashboards pre-built and it integrates already into our products. So many times customers, you'll get a monitoring software, and nobody knows how to use it, right? So you end up spending a year before somebody actually gets this into place because somebody has to figure out how to build the dashboards. They have to figure out how to integrate it. And so with Tanzu Observability, a lot of that's already built for you. Out of the box, it works great, but you can also do a lot of customizations. And again, all the updates are managed by VMware in the cloud. So there's no updating that software. It just gets updated. So all of these are wrapped up in a single package with your VxRail. So it all comes included. Anyone who's already a VxRail customer knows it takes about 15 minutes to update your VxRail. All the releases are synchronized with VMware releases in about a 30-day cycle. And then the full stack is tested by both Dell and VMware to make sure it stays consistent and working. So here's an overview of the on-prem architecture. It starts with a 4-node VxRail with vSAN. This can be scaled up as you grow. Standard Tanzu runtime is installed on this. Then components like hardware are installed on the VxRail. The NSX Advanced Load Balancer, or AVI, is included for ingress and security. Then your SaaS components, Tanzu Mission Control, Tanzu Observability. Then the full support of open source tools, like Grafana, Contour, as well as other open source tools and software. So what you get is a full stack solution full of benefits for your organization. It's got modularity, full stack monitoring, data protection, management for the management plane, centralized management plane, and then full integration with vSphere. So it's really a full package solution that's been tested and integrated with VMware software. So you're not going to be constantly trying to chase your tail, trying to figure out what version of Kubernetes is this, how do I update that? It just is going to work out of the box for you. So take the next steps. Here's some websites you can check. And I don't know if you have anything you want to wrap up to with this, Justin? Or
Nothing. Well, the only thing I would say is when you look at the Tanzu opportunity to get that lifecycle management that he was mentioning, that from the cloud, that filters all the way through the entire solution. So the lifecycle management of VxRail is wrapped into the same integration. You've got VxRail Manager integrated in vCenter. We test every update, every major update. We put 800,000 hours of testing in front of that. So you know that the software and the firmware, the hardware and the hypervisor are steady and ready to run to support Tanzu in this case.
Great. Well, thanks everybody for listening, and please take your survey, and thank you.